Hello fellow map makers, welcome to another live map making session with campaign cartographer and me, Rav Shaman of Fantasy Software. I hope you're all doing fine. I had a nice last week and are eager to do some more map making. Sound is good, that's great to hear, thank you very much Sue. And hope everybody else in the chat is fine, doing okay, or many of the regulars are there. That's great to see. What do I want to do tonight? I want to take a look at a little bit of older style from one of our add-ons from Cosmographer. And because I haven't looked at any sci-fi maps in a while, also I've picked one I haven't done before, and that's the Satellite Overland style that came with Cosmographer, basically a mapping style that seeks to emulate satellite views of landscapes. I'm taking some real-world satellite imagery and creating it created tiling fills from those, and we'll see how we can put those together to create a nice little overland map. Yeah, so Azar says that was Azar there shaking the cam, jumping up on the desk. And she's here now seeing what I am talking about. Alright, so if you've got any questions during the session, please do put them in the chat. As always, we'll be ready to help out with anything, either people answering in the chat or me showing on stuff on screen. And if you do like our channel, do give it a like and a subscribe on YouTube. That's good for our visibility. Alright, so let's take a look and get some software out of the way, which shouldn't be there. Sorry about that. And now we can start on our map making here. I'm going to create a fresh map. On screen is a little test map I tinkered with. But I'm going to start from scratch. And tonight the map type we are choosing is Cosmographer. All the science fiction stuff is collected under that heading. And then we are already here at the Overland Cosmographer satellite style. It's basically just the textured and layered map, and then with a bit of a very modern, perhaps computer-looking overlay text over on top of that. So let's click next, and here we can set the size of our map. I'm gonna go with the size. The default size is a little bit odd in here because there's some of the stuff that sets off the edge of the map is on the map border sheet, and therefore that cuts into our standard size, but it works just normally like any other map style. And then I'm just going to click finish here and save my map on our video folder. Here we are, Fantasy Streams, Satellite. Here we are with our blank map. And I'm going to use actually I can give it this a quick try whether our resize drawing area actually works here. It doesn't always work perfectly with the older styles, but because they were not quite set up for this. But let's give it a look, because I want to make the map a little bit smaller by keeping the bitmap fill sizes. Yeah, seems to work fine. All good. So here we are with a 500, 400 miles map, and you should be seeing a tail on screen here. That's Asa. Come on, Asa. Get a little bit out of the way. Alright, there's the tail again. We had a bit of a kerfluffle earlier when I had to weigh her, and she didn't like that being picked up. She not offended, but she seems to have forgiven me now. That's good. All right. Then let's go and have a look at our land drawing tools. On the default one, and if I right click, I get the select on the button. I do get the different selections because I don't need to start with the land green default, or I could start with the green one. This is the default one, and we have got a dryer option. But the default one looks good. Let's start with that. And I'm thinking I do want to draw a bit of an island. I'm thinking on Vancouver Island in Canada at the moment, and something along that shape. So I'm gonna start with the island first this time, and I'm just gonna do a rough shape to start with. But I want to work a little bit more on the coastline here in tonight's session, and show you how to just do the rough outline first, making sure of making use of the fractal function to still give it a nice detailed outline. And now the mainland, that's gonna be close to much of the island here. And then veering off to the side, attaching that to the map border. Go, and then island here, bit of land peeking up from the north side, and perhaps a little chain of islands a little off from the mainland here. All right. Like that. The only thing is, I think the coastline is still a little bit too boring to start with, and I do want to give it more fjords and bays and stuff like the real world Vancouver Island and British Columbia coastline has. So I'm now going to go in and do some detail work on that. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to use the edit function of my drawing tool. You can see down here in the command line that it says E for edit. That means I can just press E to edit an existing entity in that drawing tool style I'm currently using. And then I can just do that and do a long bay in here. Right click to finish, connect that, refresh, shows me now I've got a nice long bay inlet going into the interior there. And I'm gonna do something similar on a few other locations. There we go, something here. And something here. Go. And I can also do stuff like edit something here and then to make a larger inlet, and then just the outside of the area there. This looks like a prime place for a nice little bay. There we go. And you can see already the coastline looks a lot more interesting and also realistic at this point if you do put in some work for the coastline. But you don't, it can be tough to do that in right at the start while you're still working out your general shape of the area of the coast you're doing, and because it's all a lot of extra work, and you might not want to be working on an unfinished polygon all the time, because if something goes wrong, you misclick or something, you could just lose a lot of work that if you've done previously. So the easy thing is just to do the rough shape first and then go in and do the edits with the edit, or the extra features with the edit function, and that way you don't have to bother or to worry about losing all the previous work you've done on the shape. A much safer way to work. Go. Here we are. And I don't want to do too much here, otherwise it's gonna be boring watching, but I do want to finish the main work on all the main inlets I want in the map. That's looking fine, and now I'm also gonna add a few more islands, smaller ones, to make this whole thing look more natural. Because this is probably a glaciated coast, basically a coastline where there was strong glaciation during the Ice Age, and that will leave many scars and valleys and in the landscape, resulting in the broken look of many inlets and small islands. That's why the Scandinavian and Canadian coastlines look like that, at least in part. Go. A few more islands down here. And I do want a few more islands up here on the northwestern edge of the big island. There we go. Alright, that shall be enough for the moment, and let's turn on sheet effects in this style, because in all one sheet effects are turned off by default, so we can see a bit of the glows that we have on the coastline. I'm also gonna turn on sheet effects by default, so when we open the map again it will be on. So I'm just to do that, I go to the display speed settings and then turn on effects on when loaded, click OK, and this way you don't have to bother about turning off on sheet effects when you load the map anymore. Alright, so that's looking nice. Let's zoom in a little bit on our general island, and I do now want to add the major mountain ranges. Yes, now I think I've not yet at the skill level of Slati Bardfast Fjords. I do have to a few more centuries of work to put in for that. He got a prize, so... Alright, for mountains. So go have a look here, and we do in the terrain drawing tools, we do have several types of mountains. So I'm gonna start out by let's grab the high mountains here, and I want to have a mountain range going through the interior of this island. So I'm gonna start up here and draw a polygon, not all the way down there. Right click to finish, and there's my mountain range. Here we go. Spots there. And I'm thinking that here on my side of the map, the edge fade effect is perhaps a little bit large. It's a lot of my mountains, so it does look good. Let's have a quick check. The terrain mountains, edit, and let's try if we half that size, 10 units, how that looks. No, I actually like the other smoother transition better. So let's try something in between. Let's take 15 units. And yeah, I think that's quite nice. Okay, so what other We do have the hills as an extra sheet, so let's put in some hills around this. Got the dry hills here. Do we have other hills? Wooded hills. Yeah, wooded hills sounds fine. So I'm gonna put this around our mountain range. Wider on this side of the mountains and closer to the main on this side here. Yeah, that's already nice. And as I'm thinking that we've got the rain coming from the ocean here, from the west, we'll have the off side of that drier, and the western side of the island lusher and greener. So we do need a little bit more of a green background. So I'm thinking I could just put in another land background on top of this one. So let's have a look. Oh, actually I'm gonna go here, and there I'm gonna grab the land default green. Start here, and now I'm gonna trace my coastline. T for trace. Select the coastline, my starting point, and then I'm gonna go around all the way down to here. And then I'm gonna follow the central line of the mountain range. There we go. Fresh. And there's... Yeah, the other thing I don't like that much is the fairly strong separation here. That's because it's on the same sheet as the land sheet, and so we do have a strong here. What I could do, and I think I will do, I could put this on a second land sheet and have a little bit of an edge fade there, so we do get a weaker, not such a sharp, harsh separation line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here and go to copy to, not copy to sheet, but move to sheet. Select the entity, press D for do it, and add new sheet, land 2. Same start of the name, so we can use the drawing tools easily with that sheet. Move it up. There we go. Okay, now we don't have a difference yet because we don't have the sheet effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an edge fade effect, paste it here and edit it, and I'm going to make this the 10 units. There we go, and I like that. That's looking pretty good. And I'm thinking I also I not only want the green background, I also want a good range of wooded, forested area. And for that I'm gonna grab I could grab the forest with the breaks in, or the full forest. I'm gonna grab the forest with the breaks in there, and I'm gonna do the same thing again, trace the coastline here. Let's just go to here, and then same thing. So I guess the forest also has this very strong edge fade effect. Yeah, 20 is a lot, so let's also do 10, and this way it's much more visible. Okay, like it, looking good, pretty good. And now I can go. Sue is asking who created that style. For once I can say that was me. I did this when we were doing Cosmographer and needed some overland styles. I did grab those public domain satellite imagery and did create the tiling fills from that and set up the style. Alright, so I do want to add a few more forests and here on the other side, just not quite as much. So I'm gonna grab the forest fill again and add some polygons. Not filling everything there because I don't want it to be quite as wooded as the other side. There we go. Alright, so that is very nice. Now, if I wanted to do just a physical map or map of the wilderness, I wouldn't have to do much here, but I'm thinking of sci-fi, modern stuff, so we do need some civilized or settled areas, and these strongly settled areas do show up quite distinctly on satellite images, and therefore we're gonna take a look here, and we'll see we have rural landscape and some urban landscapes. So I'm gonna go for the rural one first, and I'm gonna do this as the coastline here on the other side, so most of the settlement will be on this side of the island. And I'm gonna start here. Again, I'm gonna trace the coastline, just going in the other direction this time, just to here first, and then just following the general area here. I click the finish, and I also think we do need a little bit off because I've created this fairly smallish area. I do need less edge width here. Yeah, that's good. Again, same here. Tracing. There we are. And then I also want a bit of a really built up urban area, or perhaps not the dense one. This will be New York City or Central or Los Angeles, stuff like this. Gonna go for a little bit of lighter version here, and I'm gonna put this here at the edge. I'm also gonna do a good part of this island as that. Oh, come on, trace. There we go. All right. So if I want to change these islands here to something else, I could of course go in and draw my fills into these, but it's easier just to copy them to a different sheet and apply different sheet effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy to sheet, grab the islands. Let's just take all of these and copy them to, let's say, the rural style. There we go. And then change fill style, right click prior, do it, and from the bitmap fills, let's have a look here. Rural new satellite. There we go. And as you can see, the edge fade effect and the inner glow of the coastline does make it not appear as strong as perhaps, but it's working enough nicely. So for example, if I say these were some mostly forested islands with nothing much else going on, I could just copy these and to the terrain forest, then change fill style. For prior, you can also press P, do it. And let's look for the forest dense. There we go. All right, yeah, that's, I think for the forest dense we also still need to, oh no, we are already, that's the one. We might even make the forest edge fade a little less. Yeah, I think that works fine. There we go. Looking nice. Now it's time to turn to the mainland. Oh, actually, what I can also still do is forest rivers. Yeah, let's do a few. Although I don't have much space to do proper big rivers in here. Mostly rivers will appear just as just very small lines on a satellite image, if at all, at this scale. We do have some river tools for big rivers in here, for oh no, I remember something different. Oh, the river defaults. Let's give it a try. Let's grab the river tool here. I see the satellite imagery used also suggests some river flows. There we go. Yeah, I can do it this way. Though actually it does clash a little bit with the bright outline of the coastline there. We could go for the cutout method again, but then I don't think the bright rivers will look so good on this background at all. I think I'm gonna skip the river here for now and worry about them later. Alright, so let's have a quick look and see. I do want to add some bigger mountains here, snow-capped ones. I do have mountain snow here, so I'm gonna do these like this. Go. And around these I'm gonna put the normal high mountains. The snow ones should have gone on their own sheet. Let's have a look whether this works. Putting the high mountains here around the snowy mountain texture. I forgot to close the corner there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the style again. Click here, and then right click to finish to here. And there we've got this fixed. But the mountains are on top of the snow ones. I think, yeah, I should have selected this one. Let's double check the terrain style. If I go on the mountain snow, see whether they're set up to go on the snow sheet directly. Automatically, no, they're not. They can also go on the terrain mountains sheet. And so that's why they ended up underneath these ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to sheet. And this time I'll try cleverly to select by fill style. Because they are hidden underneath these and a bit hard to find. And there is my snow mountains. Okay, yeah, selected that, press D for do it, and put it on the terrains mountain snow. And there we have the proper overlay, and they work together quite nicely. The outline of the little darker mountains without snow, and the other ones on top of that. Okay, see, I do seem to have a relaxing influence on my audience. I hope it's not too relaxing and everybody's falling asleep. All right, so, and then I do want to put some more hills around these. I've got to mention there from Quentin that he says the terrain types are a bit too similar to each other. That's probably true. Could have done a little bit differently, though. If you look at real world satellite imagery, it's really, I mean, defining the terrain type is always a little bit arbitrary. What is a hill? What is a mountain? What is forest? What is woods and stuff? And they all blend into each other. So I think the aim here was to be a bit more natural and not have such clearly defined terrain types. Then, of course, most of this is just preference, personal preference. There we go, some mountains, and here I'm thinking I might even put some fairly dry stuff in here, so I could go for a desert or area. What else do we have? Yeah, let's do some deserty stuff in here. There we go. And then I'm also going to put in some urban areas. So I'm going to try the modern rural with the broken up here to do this along the coast and make this not as densely populated. Let's see how this goes. If I just do this here alongside the coastline, and this way you automatically get this broken up effect, which is not as precise. I didn't have the exact choice where I want my urbanized or my rural areas to show, so basically the fill style defines that. Well, that's fine for me. I wasn't too bothered there to have this exactly where I wanted. So this is nice and broken up. But I also want the urban area. I'm just going to grab the urban light one and do a section here where my metropolis sits, or my big conurbation area. Just put this in here. There we go. And let's see whether I can make a interior dense area for that. We don't have a separate sheet for that. Let's see how that looks on the same sheet. Might be too strongly defined because we don't have an edge fade. But let's have a look. Oh, actually works nicely enough, I guess. With the... Yeah, I'm good for that. Looking okay. Okay, so I still need to do something about all these islands here. They do pop up a little bit too strongly without any fill styles, so we do need to fill them with something, and I think we're gonna do the rural type again. So let's do copy to sheet, grab these islands, press D for do it, put them on the rural area, change fill style, prior, do it, and select the rural fill style. There we go. I like that. That's looking good. And then we do have some more islands up here. And let's have a look. This one up here, I think we'll just do forestry areas here. So I'm gonna also copy these to the sheets I want this fill for. Do it first, change fill style, prior to it. Forest dense. There we go. All right. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that, actually. Quicker even than I thought I would be with mapping the whole map. Good. What I can also do, if I want to add a few more snowy peaks here in this area here in the center, I can go in, and I'm already in the Terrains Mountain Snow layer, so that is fine. So I'm gonna do this, grab the snowy area, and I'm gonna do this one here, and then add a few patches of that in my central mountain range here, indicating some higher peaks. Refresh. I do think I do need to reduce the edge fade effect on this. Again, yes, because I've got 20 units, 20 miles. That's a lot. Ah, there we are. I've got my snowy peaks in the center of the on range. So I'm thinking perhaps I want a little more edge fade. A little too obvious there, so I'm gonna reduce or increase that to 10. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so that's pretty nice, and well, from here I can also still add a little bit more urban areas here. I do want to indicate that this is a fairly strongly built up area here alongside the coast. So we're gonna add some fill starts here and a bit here. Indicate some more urban areas. Right. And now we could turn to, we can still think a little bit about rivers. Let's give the rivers a little bit of a look, how we can make this perhaps a little more nicely. So I've got a brighter river there. Let's see, river. Properties, I think that's just, okay, no, that's I think an leftover river from a different style. And yeah, that's it doesn't have the command the default in there, so and that's why you can't delete it from this interface, and therefore it's probably a leftover river. So let's grab this, or let's grab the smaller river. That's the curved version. Let's do this as a straight one, and also actually use the fractal function for this as well. Look, because I do want the rivers a little bit narrower here, but I want to see whether I can create a nice one. Actually, going down here and then hitting that there on the coastline. Yeah, I think that's better, making these a little bit narrower, so it does look a little bit broken up here from this view, from this. I think I do have this darker outline on the area, but that's fine, especially I think it's going to be fine on a lake. So let's see whether I can add a lake here somewhere, how that looks. Grab the river lake, and the lake is set up, I noticed this earlier, as a fractal box. I think it's not the best thing to do. Let's just make this as a normal polygon so we can draw that point by point. Save, and let's put a lake here in this area. Yeah, there you get the greenish outline on the lake, and it does look good there. So we can now grab the small river. Connect it there. And then this way here. And this way you can build the rivers. Nice. Good. I do want one river here running down from the mountains through the city. Grab that. Start here through this valley all the way to this bay. See whether we did hit. We were too zoomed out, and our connector cursor did grab a wrong piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this. See whether that works. Oops, no, that was not right. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break that. Oops, what's happening here? Entity split. I want to split this there and then erase this piece. There we go. So now we can have a look. What we don't have much in the way of compass roses or scale bars in here, because on modern satellite imagery that is zoomable and everything, it doesn't make much sense. A north pointing arrow perhaps, which on the computer interface could turn and show always the correct north position. But for now we'll just leave it as if we don't need that and just start adding some text. So grab this, say white color, and we've got the text sheet. And I also want to go on my text layer, and then we are just gonna add here Western Ocean as the ocean label. Go, make this a little bit larger. And then label the islands here. Pleasant Islands. We could angle that, but that's a bit smaller. Yeah, I think that's looking okay. Zoom in to see whether our text looks okay, or might even be a bit smaller there. Move this, do it. Point, oops, no, I wanted to make it smaller. Go. Okay, and see, that's our default. Oh no, that's the most recent text size we chose. But I just want to add a label for the island now. So let's just do, how do we call it? We'll call this Reynolds Island. Mid-center alignment, and is that a good size? We don't want to make the labels too large on this kind of style. Is going to look odd. Yeah, and that looks good on the land background. Let's have a quick look. What size is that? The last text size we placed is, so I do like to make these straight numbers, so drop the fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change text properties prior, and also take the Western Ocean here, do it, and set this to 7. keep, and then make the smaller labels like for the islands, like 5. So change text properties this here to size 5. Pretty close what I had already. And then I can now add smaller labels where I need them. So this is Reynolds City. Center again. Okay. And point the city here. Sinclair. And Bircham here. And there. This way we can keep adding nice labels to our city. To our map. I'm thinking perhaps I could change the look of the water labels a little bit. So they turn off, so see whether it makes sense just to change the color. So I'm going to change color, grab my labels on the water here and make these a blue. Now that's looking is too green, don't like that. Let's grab here this one. And then we probably don't need the dark outline on that, or the green bit of greenish outline. So what I'll do for that, I'm gonna add a new text sheet, text ocean. And that does not need any sheet effects, so we're just gonna move to sheet these here to the text ocean sheet. Oh, the difference is subtle, but I quite like this differentiation. So illustrates. This is gonna be my label here for the... Oh, actually, what I should have done first is I should have changed the text properties to this, and because this has an angle, I need to set the angle back to 0 for my text. Illustrates mid-center, and place that here. Right, and let's call this point Bay. And yeah, I could go on adding labels, but I guess you see the point. And we can finish up the map with, well, I'm thinking I want to add a bit of compass rose. But since I don't have anything in the map style as such, well, let's have a look whether we've got anything here in the Cosmographer Overland style. We've got planets and streets, overland, border, well, overland all. Let's have a look whether we've got anything in here that's just different types of symbols for structures and things that were included in the Traveller 5 release, or planned for the Traveller 5 release, I think. No, there's no compass rose, so we're gonna build our own, basically, and I want to give it the same styling as the text, the white text, so I'm gonna grab the properties of the text here, and I think I'm simply going to turn on the grid effect, though I think we do need a much smaller grid. And add a regular polygon, a triangle, 3 corners, put this here. This is too large for my taste, but actually what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna experiment a little bit here. I'm gonna add this here, and to make it more into a north pointing arrow, I might just scale it a bit narrower. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna non-visual scale XY. I want to keep the Y, also the up-down direction, but I want to make it narrow, so I'm gonna scale in 2 different directions. Press D for do it, and I'm gonna scale it to 1/3, but keep the height. And there we are. And that's nice. I might even make it a little bit smaller in a moment, but first I want to add my north bottom center. Turn off snap here. Might make the end a little bit larger. Yeah, but this could be smaller, so I'm just gonna grab, or actually what I'm gonna do, I don't want to make a symbol from that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna group this, so we do have that as one thing, and this way I can just click here and grab both things together. Make this a bit smaller and put it in the lower right corner here. And then for a traveler map or stuff, I might add a subtle grid to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw hex a square overlay. Let's do a 20-mile grid, small one, but without any labels. Oh, no, I want to do a hex grid. I should select a hex grid then. There we go. And there, turn off the grid view. I might make this even a little less obvious. So I'm going to make the transparency, sorry, only 25%. So let's make that 15% opacity. And this way it's fairly unobtrusive. And there we are. And that's, I've got a nice little satellite looking map with labels, and even created new compass rows for that. And all that in less than an hour. I'm quite happy with this result. I'm going to share that tomorrow on the forum if you want to take a look at the map. And that is saved. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's little session. Alright, and I don't think it makes much sense to do more stuff on this map in the last few minutes I have in the hour. So let's finish a little bit early tonight and see you again next week. In the meantime, please like and subscribe our channel, share your maps on our forum and the Facebook group, and general enjoy your mapping. Thank you very much for watching. All the best. Bye bye.